All right, so these are my moon stories. Uh, this is gonna be my first time really going through all these things like this in order, so I'm gonna try not to make it too long, but bear with me if you can. That's why I put it at the end of the video. So, all right. So it all started with my niece's passing in July. Uh, the night that it happened, I was up at like 2 or 3 in the morning, on my phone, like on TikTok or something, and I just had like a wave of emotion come over me. It was like terror, like actual like the deepest fear I've ever felt. Like I've never personally been in a situation myself, and I've been in life or death situations and dangerous situations and stuff. But personally, myself, I've never felt that kind of fear in a moment. But that night, like something just came over me in the middle of the night, and I had an unfortunate uh, suspicion that I might get some type of call in the morning or something. And yeah, my dad ended up calling me that morning and letting me know about some of what happened. It was completely unexpected and basically almost unexplained right now. And you know, this happened late July 2023. I meant to say that. Uh, so if you look, um, there'll be a full moon around August 1st, 2023. So this is within uh, 5 or 6 days of that. And now going into August, that same week, right? Preparing for the funeral, uh, and all the arrangements and everything. I had a dream about my family going to the funeral and actually coming from the funeral and getting into a car crash. And I knew it was coming from the funeral, just the orientation of things. I recognized in the dream and stuff. And so after I had that dream, I took it upon myself to try to change some of the aspects of the dream and the situation and stuff. I was in the back seat in the dream, so uh, on on the way back, so I decided to drive on the way back instead of maybe drive on the way there. So and lo and behold, we had catastrophic, unexpected failures with our car and the brakes on the car, and the car ended up having no stop for the whole second half of our trip. Like we had to jump out of the car, like the brakes were smoking. We thought the car was about to catch on fire. It was like almost like on fire and stuff. Super hot brakes, like burning hands and stuff. They got locked up. We had to take something off and all kind of stuff. And basically, the car had no stop on it on the way back. But I made the trip over 300 miles on the highway. And I got the family back safely. And yeah, that was still within this 4 month period. Um, that date was actually August 5th, right? The day of the funeral, which is also the day before my birthday, which is August 6th. And so, yeah, that whole week or 2 week period surrounding that full moon of August 1st in 2023 was crazy to say the least. It was just something else. So this is the start of this whole saga. Now, after that, stuff feels kind of thrown off. It doesn't really feel right. Everything just feels like kind of out of place and irregular and stuff. And what ends up happening is at the end of that month, there's another full moon, August 30th or around then, and uh, and this ends up happening. As you can see, August 28th, 2023, uh, this company got taken down. I had money and assets with this company, and it got taken down by the government. And what you can now see has been called, and this is May 2025, uh, has been called a bad faith uh, case against this company. The judge dismissed it, and they said that the government made false claims and took on the case in bad faith. Um, Crazy to say. And so that bad faith case happened for whatever reason on August 28th, 2023. That's when it all went down. So that happened at the end of this same month. So next, at that point, my brain is like half wiped. That's all I'll say on that. Just I was just like, wow. And so in trying to recollect myself, I just start going into new things, trying to expand my mind, expand my horizon, expand just like, you know, I decided to go completely left field basically. And I downloaded this app called Hello Talk. And so on this app, I ended up meeting two friends. This is the week of October 28th, 2023, centering around this full moon. Um, I met a Japanese friend, and I met a Saudi friend. Uh, the Japanese friend's on the left in the white, and the Saudi friend is on the right in the red. Now, these are actually the very first two people that I talked to on this app. Uh, and I think I messaged the Japanese girl, and I think the Saudi girl messaged me. And I responded to the Saudi girl because I had some kind of weird memory or recall on seeing her profile picture, which this was it. On the website, I felt like I had a dream where I was sitting down, looking at my phone, talking to this person already and stuff. So I felt like I had a dream where like I was having a conversation with her or something, and I felt like I remember that, and like I feel like I recognized the photo through that, and we ended up talking, and I made a lot of abnormal stuff happen between us, metaphysical, paranormal stuff, to say the least, and that's that connection there. Um, Her name is Nona, and my Japanese friend, her name is Shanti. So now on to my friend Shanti. So this same first day that I met these two ladies, uh, Shanti, me and her talked. We talked about a little bit of stuff earlier in the day. We just went back and forth. I think shared some music and just talked back and forth. Uh, Sent a couple voice messages and stuff. And later that night, she was going through some stuff. Um, she has a very colorful personality, a very bright and deep personality, a very diverse and original. personality and mine. And as you can see, these are just some of the photo pieces she had on her page. And she's a model. She does a couple different things. She makes music and a lot of different things. And so, uh, yeah, we were talking about all that. And I was, I became an instant fan of her. I mean, look at her stuff. Like, this junk crazy. Like, uh, and some of the songs she sent me, they were cool and stuff. And she liked some of the stuff I sent her. So it was just cool. But later that night, um, as you can see by some of the text on the screen, uh, she ended up going through some personal situations, some trying times, some personal tribulations that night. And I can't remember how it exactly came to be, but I think I ended up sending her some kind of message after seeing some other posts that she had made on the app's little like message board place, like status area. And like I say, it was close to a full moon. I'm not going to say it was exactly October 28th, but visually the moon looked basically full and stuff, which really doesn't even matter. But I was outside at the time, um, and I was looking at the moon at the time, and it was like 12 at night, 1 at night. Um, and I just had like some type of communications in my mind. I sent out good thoughts and prayers for, um, and I felt like I received a type of energy back. Um, and that whole process went on for about 3 minutes or so. Um, and I just was kind of mind blown just from, the culture shock of getting on the app and meeting so many diverse people that day and so many cool people and just like the expanse of the world and, knowing that that same moon, like someone on the other side of the earth is seeing that same thing. Like it's crazy. And it's like, we're all so far away, but we could really be connected. And it's just like, it, after I had that experience, probably about 15 or 30 minutes later, Shanti ended up sending me a message saying, thank you. I felt something tell me to come back. I was almost gone, or I was about to do it, or, you know, certain kind of messages and stuff. Not to just get too deep into it, but yeah. And, you know, She she said she felt it. Like I talked to her about it. Like we conversed about it. Like I asked her, like, because I was like kind of freaked out. I was like, whoa, like, did you feel that too? Like you like that? Is this real? Like you're really telling me you felt that junk and like heard that? Like that's crazy. And it's like, yeah, she was like, yeah, and I appreciate it. And like I say, not to get too deep into it. And it's been a long time. I can't exactly remember what she said, but man, that was a crazy experience. That junk really blew my mind. Like that junk really, really, really blew my mind right there. Um, and so after that experience with her, um, you know, I just had a different outlook on life. I had a different perspective on life, on what all this is, and where I'm at, what I'm at, and what I'm doing, and you know, uh, fast forward anyway. to just the end of this, and not to make all this too long and stuff. This is kind of connected and kind of disconnected. I don't want to confuse anybody too much, you know. I'm telling these stories just as, like I say, experiences that I've had, specifically centered around full moon events or full moon times, that I just can know of a name like off the top of my head, in recent memory and stuff. So this last one, you're gonna see why I'm including it, but I don't want it to cloud anything else in this video or overtake anything. That's why I'm leaving this at the end too, because you know this really has nothing to do with anything else. But this last story, just putting it out there just in case. So the last thing is I had a dream around the November 15th full moon in 2024. Uh, it's now summer 2025. In this dream, I was in a certain city, certain town. I'm going to go on a limb and say it was Norfolk, Virginia. Um, and in this dream, I was walking to the store to just hurry up the store, walking to the store. Bob came back, and over the course of about 20 minutes in dream time, you know, it was very long, drawn out, detailed, extended dream. But basically an attack on the city developed, a drone attack on the city developed. I'm going to also go out on a limb here and say it was China with some submarines that were full of a whole bunch of AI drones, like tens of thousands of drones that they just released at a massive drone store, right? Or drone swarm, right? Um, and yeah, they set them on the city. Uh, it was mayhem and panic. As you can imagine. A lot of crazy stuff happened. I was ducking in and out of houses while they were getting blown up and stuff. And long story short, I ended up having to hide in the house and duck and try to fight and escape a drone at the end of the dream. And, you know, that's what happened. And so I'm just throwing that out there, you know, with current times and stuff. Other people, y'all might have certain kind of, uh, visions and dreams, premonitions and stuff going on. You know, there's no telling when these things are going to happen or if they will happen and all this kind of stuff, or exactly where, being able to identify stuff. But, you know, just be cognizant of certain things and going certain places at certain times, you know, might not, probably won't be soon, but it could very likely be later. So, that's the end of my moon stories for the purposes of this conversation. I hope you appreciated this video. I hope you can learn something from it. I hope that we can all come together and grow. Uh, the world is about to go through extremely trying times, and we're going to need to come together to make it. It's not going to happen if we all split up and try to do our own thing and just isolate ourselves. It's just not going to happen, you know. We're going to have to rethink society. We're going to have to change some of our standards and ideas about things and principles on things. And we're going to have to just start working on solutions. Because at the end of the day, we're going to have to still be here. We're going to have to be here. Like, we're going to have to make it together. There's no way around it. So I hope to make it all with you. And I hope you all will make it with me. Have a nice day. Thank you. Like and subscribe if any of this helped you. Or if you just want to keep up, it will help a lot. Thank you. Bye.